For interesting and authentic recipes, subscribe to Crafted Kitchen and follow me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. You heard that sizzling sound when the hot sugar syrup hit the crispy pastry? Pure magic. That's baklava, a dessert that traveled through centuries from the royal kitchen of Ottoman Empire to homes around the world. Each golden flaky layer tells a story of patience, craft, and perfection. Today I'm making it completely from the scratch. Yes, even the phyllo dough, all handmade. This was honestly the most tiring video I have ever filmed, but also the most satisfying one. And the result, as you just witnessed, was absolutely worth it. So let's make this authentic Turkish baklava together. You can absolutely knead this dough by hand, and I encourage you to. But since I'm filming while kneading, I don't want messy hands on my camera, so I'm using the hand mixer. In a large bowl, whisk together the egg, oil, milk, white vinegar, baking powder, and salt. Adding vinegar helps the baklava turn beautifully flaky and perfectly crisp. Just so that you know, all the ingredients and their exact measurements are mentioned in the description, so do check that out. Give a mix to all the wet ingredients, and now we will add the flour. I am adding 3.75 cups of all-purpose flour. To make the perfect smooth and elastic dough, I will be adding water gradually later so that I don't have to add any extra flour. If you are kneading dough by hand, you can keep some flour extra just in case if you need. I am putting to low speed first so all the dough comes together. Once the dough comes together, scrape it from the sides. Making baklava from scratch, including phyllo dough, I would say is a labor of love that results in a pastry far superior to using store-bought sheets. You will realize when you will try this method. Our dough has come together, and now I am gradually adding water. On the top of the wet ingredients that we took before, I have hardly used 3 to 4 tablespoons of water, so you can stick to the same measurement. And now I have increased the speed of the mixer so that the dough becomes very smooth, elastic, and pliable. It took me like about 5 to 6 minutes on high speed, and now our dough is ready. I will scrape it to take it out. It's a perfect texture. I'm taking out the dough on the rolling mat. We need generous amount of corn flour to roll the pastry sheets into very thin layers, so it's better to take it handy on a plate. To prevent sticking, we will dust the work surface with a generous amount of cornstarch. Now take the dough, quickly knead it and roll it into a long, neat cylinder shape, just like this. In this recipe, we need to divide the dough into equal 24 pieces. Now roll each piece into a small ball, cover them with a clean wet cloth and let them rest for at least 30 minutes. 1 to 2 hours is better. That allows gluten to relax, making them easier to roll. For baking baklava, we need dishes like this. You can use glass, or I am using steel, which is 15-inch as diameter. Baklava vary slightly between Turkish, Greek traditions, primarily in the type of nuts, spices, and syrup flavor. I am using traditional Turkish baklava approach using simple syrup and clarified butter. For the filling, I am using layers of both pistachios and walnuts. Chop the pistachios coarsely in the chopper, and it should not be powdered. Once you have achieved that, add 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. It will add some sweet touch. Give it a mix on a pulse mode. Our pistachio is ready, and then we will keep it aside. We will also use it for garnishing. We will chop the walnuts also, but since walnuts are very soft, it will take lesser time in comparison to pistachio. We will add 2 tablespoons of sugar. half teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. This will give amazing flavor. So I've prepared this and keep it aside for now and will use it while layering. In the next step, we will roll the dough, which is the most critical step of this dish. But before that, let's prepare the butter or ghee. I'm using clarified butter, which is best. I will keep it in a dish and melt it. So our butter is ready now. For rolling, I am taking one dough ball, pressing it flat, dust it generously with the starch. You can use rolling pin or oklava. Roll the dough into a thin 15 to 20 centimeter circle, dusting with starch as needed. Place the first rolled sheet on a surface and dust heavily with the starch. Roll out next ball and place it on the top, dusting again. Stack about 8 to 12 sheets like this, dusting generously between each. Now take the stack and roll them all together until entire stack is paper thin. Once you have rolled the initial dough portion into a larger disc, I would highly recommend dusting starch generously in between all the layers. This prevents the delicate sheets from sticking together when you roll them out into thinner, ensuring they separate easily later on and giving you those perfect flaky layers. Now press and very carefully roll into a thinner and larger disc until you have achieved the size of your baking dish or bigger than that. Our next step is layering and baking. For that, I'm going to grease the dish that I have chosen. Now place the first sheet of phyllo dough in the pan. Brush it lightly but thoroughly with the melted butter. Repeat this process with 5 to 8 sheets from a sturdy base, brushing butter on each layer. You can see how thin is our phyllo dough and is absolutely easy to handle. It's not breaking. If your baklava dough is larger than your dish, then cut it using a sharp knife from the edges. So you can see I have prepared 8 layers with generous amount of butter in between. And for the first layer, now let's put the layering of walnut. Sprinkle generously the chopped walnuts and spread by hand into an even layer. And over that, drizzle with a little butter. After the walnut layer, I am repeating the phyllo dough with 5 to 8 sheets. Repeat the same process of phyllo and then brushing each with the butter. In the next layer, I'm sprinkling chopped pistachios, a generous amount, and then even it. Brush again with the butter and again repeat the process of phyllo dough. I would like to reiterate the idea of dusting the starch in between the sheets so that you do not face difficulties in separating the thin, delicate sheets. Notice how incredibly thin these sheets are, yet they remain perfectly easy to handle. This is the result of two crucial steps: kneading the dough perfectly and allowing it ample time to sit and rest before rolling. Do not skip that rest period. Now repeat the process of stacking sheets and in between drizzle the butter. It may appear to you that rolling these paper thin sheets is difficult, but I assure you, if you follow each step I am demonstrating, you will be handling the dough with the same ease you see on the screen. It is very satisfying process. After I have spread out all the sheets, I am going to generously again spread the pistachios. If you are still watching this video, I am going to assume that you're liking my video. If so, do comment below which country you are watching it from. In total, I am making one layer of walnut, 3 layers of pistachios, so I'm going to repeat the same process. When I first created this channel, my goal was to share the most authentic dishes from various places, ensuring that any viewer could choose a recipe blindly, knowing it would be true to its roots. Receiving your heartfelt comments about the authenticity of my recipes and the great results you have achieved has brought to me so close to that goal. I want to extend my deepest heartfelt gratitude to each one of you who has experienced it. Next, I'm using a very sharp knife to cut the baklava. You can cut any desired shape like diamonds or squares. Just ensure to cut all the way down to the bottom of the pan This is crucial for the syrup to penetrate the layers. I am cutting into an inch squares so it's easy to hold and perfect for a bite-sized treat. Next, I'm straining the remaining butter to remove any froth or foam, as it can cause the baklava to bake unevenly with different golden shades. Now I'm pouring the butter over the layers. This will help the baklava bake up beautifully flaky and crisp. Now tilt the tray to the sides and gently brush the butter so that it spreads evenly throughout the layers. Look how beautiful and satisfying it looks. It's just ready for the baking. I have preheated my oven to 350 degree Fahrenheit or 175 degrees centigrades, and now baking it for 40 to 50 minutes or until the top is deep, rich golden brown and the layers are visibly puffy and separated. While the baklava is getting baked, let's prepare the sugar syrup. In a pan, I'm taking 2 cups of granulated sugar, 1.5 cup of water, juice of half a lemon. This will prevent from crystallization. I am using 2 teaspoons of orange blossom water, which is very common in Greek and Arab style. You can also use rose water or honey. This is totally optional and you can choose whatever you feel comfortable with. Put the pan on the heat. Just in case if you do not have orange blossom water, you can optionally use the peel of the orange. Now bring to a boil over medium heat, stirring until the sugar dissolves. As the sugar gets dissolved, reduce the heat and let it gently simmer for 10 to 15 minutes until it gets thickened slightly. Now switch off the heat. The syrup must be completely cooled before pouring over the hot baked baklava. It took me good 55 minutes to bake the baklava nice and golden. I'm removing it from the oven. It is so satisfying to see this golden color, and you will realize when you will try it yourself. And now comes the most satisfying part of this process. Let's do the finishing. Immediately and evenly pour the cool syrup over the piping hot baklava. You should hear that satisfying sizzling sound. Garnish with the crushed nuts. Pistachios are traditional for Turkish style. Now allow the baklava to sit uncovered at the room temperature for at least 4 to 6 hours or overnight to fully absorb the syrup and become wonderfully crisp. Making baklava all by myself at home was incredibly satisfying, and I cannot express how happy I was. You can see each layer has puffed up and is so flaky. If you follow me closely, you probably would know that I do not have a sweet tooth. I'm more of a savory person, but literally I am enjoying the fruit of my labor. The incredible texture of homemade phyllo makes all the effort worth it. You can see each layer. It looks awesome. Notice the sound of those perfectly flaky layers? This is the difference that comes from doing it authentic way. Every bit of crispness and golden syrup proves that you can master any traditional recipes right here in your kitchen. So enjoy. While I'm preparing to share baklava with others, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel for authentic recipes. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Ma salama.